Hello friends, it's Lisa and welcome to what is going to be an all things Heartstopper vlog with season 2 approaching. It's coming out in a few days. By the time this vlog goes up, it will be out, but I'm so excited for season 2 and I thought it would be fun to do a vlog to kind of prepare and get me ready for season 2. So the only way to get excited and prepare for season 2 was to do a reread of all of the Heartstopper graphic novels. So that is what we're going to be doing in this vlog. We're going to be rereading these. I'm going to be chatting about all my thoughts, and also I want to share my reactions and thoughts on season 2 as well, because it looks really promising, really exciting, and I think it will probably be just as good as season 1, if not even better. I'm just so excited for it, and I'm really excited to revisit the graphic novels as well. I have never reread most of these. I've read volume 1 I think twice, but volume 2, 3, and 4 I've only read the one time, so I'm really excited to revisit these because, to be honest, I know what happens in the graphic novels, but I feel like some of the events kind of get out of order in my brain. I'm not quite sure which events happen in which graphic novels, so, or which volumes, so I'm excited to reread these. I thought it would just be a fun way to yell about Heartstopper, and if you're watching this, I'm sure you also want to yell about Heartstopper, so feel free to leave all your thoughts on it down below, whether it's a new season, the graphic novels, anything like that. I'd love to chat about it because I'm so excited. How many times am I going to say excited? Probably a lot more. So we will be starting with volume 1, and just looking at this cover makes me so happy. This is just such an iconic cover and just such an iconic start to the series. I cannot wait to jump into this, and also I'm just so excited to see them and compare it to the show, even season 1, which I've seen multiple times, and to go back and reread these and see the scenes that they took in the show and also maybe some things that they changed or whatever. I'm just really excited to revisit these and see the differences, see the exact same things and all of that. So really excited to get into this reread. As I've made it very clear, I'm excited. But yeah, I think it's time we get started. I'm gonna get comfy, sit down, reread volume 1, and I will check in and share all of my thoughts on each volume as we go. Just a really cool guy, huh? I see you. The little smiley face. Is that a joke? Okay, it is the next day. I have finished reading volume 1 of Heartstopper, and I gave this 5 stars. I gave it 5 stars the first 2 times I read it. Nothing's changed. I think honestly, this has been my favorite time reading it. I mean, the first time was obviously the first time and getting to know the characters in the story for the first time, but I think something about this reading experience, which we will talk about, I think made it even more special. But I do want to say, before we get too far into this vlog, I meant to say this in the intro and I forgot, that I will be talking about spoilers for all of the graphic novels, as well as season 1 and season 2 of Heartstopper. So if you don't want to be spoiled for anything specific, I would recommend coming back to this once you read and watch the show. I also will have timestamps in the description, so you can skip around to see whatever you want to see. I want to talk about my thoughts on volume 1. I absolutely loved it. There's so many iconic moments in this first graphic novel. I love seeing them become friends at the beginning, and there are also some really sweet moments when they go over to each other's houses, and also the iconic moment at Harry's birthday party at the end when they kiss for the first time. So there's just a lot of really iconic moments in this first volume, and I loved it so much. And why I think this was my best reading experience with this particular volume is because I have not read any of these graphic novels since the show has come out. I've read all 4 of them before season 1 of the show came out, and I have not revisited them since. And so having the context of the show in my mind while reading this added so much to this reading experience. I feel like I kept thinking of certain songs that play in the show during the moments that are like replicated in the show that are in the graphic novel. So that was really fun. I just feel like I should have like the playlist of the soundtrack from the show playing while I read the graphic novels. But like I just kept thinking about the songs and like thinking about how the scenes were done in the show and how they like expanded on certain things or just like replicated them in a way that was special in the show. It added more to the graphic novel. Like the show makes this graphic novel feel even more expanded. Like, I don't know, they complement each other really well because then I also last night watched the first 2 episodes of season 1. I want to do a rewatch of season 1 before season 2, and watching the first couple of episodes, I'm like, oh my god, there's so many things from this first volume that are in those first couple of episodes that are directly taken. Like, I knew there were a lot of things from the graphic novel that were in season 1, but there's a lot of smaller moments as well. Like the moment where, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find it, but when Nick sees Charlie running in like gym class before he asks him to be a part of the rugby team, there is a panel of Charlie running, and that is literally the exact same in the show. There are so many moments that are just exact panels from the graphic novel that they put into the show. This one of him running, like there's almost an exact same shot of that. And that's another thing, like the set for the show is like almost identical to some of these scenes in the graphic novel. So watching and rewatching the first 2 episodes, I was like, oh my god, that's taken so directly from the graphic novel. So both the show and the actual graphic novels complement each other so well, and I feel like enhance each other. Like I'm enjoying rereading these more with the context of the show, but I'm also enjoying rewatching the show after having just recently read this and like being able to pick up on so many more details that they put into the show. It's just so perfect. I don't know if I've made any sense, but basically the show and the graphic novels are so powerful together, and I highly recommend watching and reading like in tandem at the same time. It's just like, oh, it's so good. So good. I just love it so much. So yeah, 5 stars, obviously obsessed with it. And I'm planning on reading volumes 2 and 3 today. I probably could read the rest of them at some point today because they are very quick to read. I think this one took me like a half hour to read, but I know that the 4th one makes me very emotional. So I want to kind of like mentally prepare, and I want to spread them out for as long as possible leading up to Thursday when the show comes out. So I think I'm going to read these 2 today, and I'm really excited because I remember really loving volume 3, and even though I know volume 2 was covered in the show, I don't exactly remember how things were done in the graphic novel. There's a lot of things that I don't fully remember. I think because the first time I read these, I read both volume 2 and 3 back to back, so kind of the events from them kind of get mismatched in my brain. So these are going to be the 2 that I think I pick up today, and I'm also gonna, I think, plan on continuing my rewatch of season 1. And I also thought it'd be fun by the end of this vlog, or by the end of me rereading these graphic novels, to rank them based off my favorite to least favorite, but like they're all 5 stars, so I love them all, but I thought it'd be fun to just rank them as like a silly goofy thing to add on. So yeah, volume 1, incredible, show-stopping, amazing, never been done before. First couple episodes of my rewatch also doing so well. Like I just love it so much. So I'm excited to keep rewatching and read volume 2 and 3 today. Alright, it is now time to update on the next 2 volumes of Heartstopper. So I did finish both volume 2 and volume 3. I almost said volume 1. Incorrect. So with volume 2, I, surprise, surprise, gave it 5 stars. It was actually really exciting to reread this one because I feel like I've said this before that I didn't fully remember exactly what happened in this one. And I think it's because in my mind, like I kept thinking about the show, and this is definitely where the show adds a lot more content. So I think the first 3 episodes of season 1 are volume 1 of the series. And then the rest of the season, like 5 episodes, is volume 2. But there's not enough like content in volume 2 to really make 5 episodes. So that's where they added like the bulk of the new stuff. And I feel like that's just like more props to the show because they made it so seamless. Like it just fit perfectly that it got to a point where I was like, there's things from the show in here that are missing, even though I know that they're not in here. I was just waiting for certain things to happen. But yeah, I still thought that this was really, really good. It was like kind of weird to go from like the moment where Nick and Charlie go to the movies with Nick's friends and then it jumps to the beach date. I'm like, wait a minute, we're missing some things here. But I do love the beach date moment. I feel like that's probably one of my favorite moments of this graphic novel. Also, like Nick coming out to Tara and Darcy about like his relationship with Charlie, I thought was such a sweet moment. I just love Tara and Darcy so much, so any moment with them when they're in like the graphic novels makes me so happy. And of course this volume ends with Nick coming out to his mom, which both times I've read that scene it has made me cry, and in the show every time I watch it it makes me cry. It's just such an emotional scene, but it's so well done in both the graphic novel and the show. And like for that scene alone, that makes me like love volume 2, because I do feel like, I know I said I was gonna rank them, but I feel like that's kind of hard. But I always thought that volume 2 was my least favorite, but I'm like, I don't know if that's possible with that scene being in it. Like, I don't know. I have no idea how I'm gonna rank them. I said I was gonna rank them, but I may take that back. So yeah, this was great. And I gave it 5 stars, of course. And then I also read volume 3, which in my mind was always one of my favorite volumes of Heartstopper. And I don't know if that's still true because to be honest, all of them are my favorite volumes. But yes, this is the first volume so far that the show has not reached yet. But I think this is gonna be what a bulk of season 2 is following. I honestly think there's enough content in here for there to be the whole season focusing on this. I'm curious to see if they get into volume 4 at all, but I feel like this is going to be what season 2 is, especially because I feel like where this ends could be a good end to the season. But yes, anyway, volume 3, this is the Paris trip, which I absolutely love. I love the Paris trip. It's one of my favorite moments in this whole series. I really love this one because I really love like the friendship dynamics within this series, and I feel like the Paris trip really highlights all of the different friendship dynamics and how sometimes things don't go so well, but they're all really great friends. And I love like seeing certain characters interact. Like there is a scene between Charlie and Tara, and they're kind of talking about how Tara and Darcy came out, like how they revealed their relationship to people, because that's something that Nick and Charlie are really struggling with, is how to make people aware of their relationship. Nick is kind of like, I don't really want to hide that from people anymore. Like, I don't want people to think that we're just like best platonic bros. And so he really wants people to know that they're together, but they're trying to figure out like how to do that. So I love the conversation that Charlie and Tara have about that. And I really hope we get that in the show. I actually like, while reading this, definitely like was thinking about season 2 and what I really hoped we saw. I feel like we're gonna get pretty much everything that's in the graphic novel in the show, just more because they have to expand on everything. But I hope that that scene is there between Tara and Charlie. And I also hope we get like Tara's birthday party that's in the hotel room. Like, I think we will. I think in some of the snippets I've seen little clips that kind of remind me of that, so I think we will. But I just love that whole scene. I'm also like, speaking of like the friendship dynamics and the side characters, I'm really excited to see Tao and Elle's relationship grow, because in this volume you see them have their first kiss, and I'm really hoping that that stays the same in the show as well, because I feel like the show, something that's good about it is the fact that it can expand on some of these side characters and these side relationships. So I felt invested in their relationship just reading the graphic novels for the first time, but I feel like with the show it's added another layer of investment, and I'm just so excited to see that relationship develop and to see if it like stays the same. I'm also really excited to see Nick speak French. I know that that's probably silly, but I feel like if you're watching this you understand me. I'm just excited for the scene where he speaks French in front of Charlie for the first time, and Charlie's like, what is happening? I didn't know you spoke French. I'm so excited because that scene in here, beautiful, chef's kiss. So I'm really excited for that as well. Charlie's mental health is playing such a big role in this volume as well, so I'm nervous and excited to see that kind of happen. Not excited necessarily, but I'm interested to see how that, you know, portrayal of his mental health is done. I'm sure it's going to be done well. I'm like not emotionally prepared, but I'm interested to see how it's done. And also something else that I'm thinking about is at Tara's birthday party, there is a scene where Harry, who is like one of Nick's friends, but not really, the one that was kind of very homophobic and like making fun of Charlie all the time. There's a moment where he comes to Tara's door and like wants to speak to Nick and Charlie and wants to apologize to them. And Charlie's like, what do you want me to do with that? Like, do you want our forgiveness? Do you want a gold medal for like viewing gay people as human beings? Like, what do you want us to do about that? I'm actually thinking that perhaps in the show, that instead of that being with Harry, I think it might be with Ben. I don't know if that will happen. I don't know. I just feel like Ben, unfortunately, for many reasons, still being a part of the show, they got to make him be involved somehow. So I'm wondering if that moment is going to be with Ben instead of Harry. So yeah, that's kind of my prediction about that moment, but like it could still be with Harry. I don't know. I just want Charlie to yell at either of them. That would be ideal. Like Charlie needs to pop off on somebody and I'll be pleased. But yeah, obviously again, this was 5 stars as well. And honestly, like I just love this volume so much. I just love the Paris trip. I love the friends. I just love them so much. And also like, oh, Nick's brothers, also a character that comes in. Also the teachers, I meant to say this earlier, the teachers and their storyline. So excited for that. I feel like that's like an underrated thing that like I'm sure other people are also excited for, but like I am so excited for those moments. Yeah, there's a lot. I'm also excited because I know like in the graphic novels we have Aled, who is a part of the Radio Silence book. He is a main character in that book, but in the show they don't have him. Instead there's Isaac, and so I'm excited to see Isaac's storyline and how that plays a role in the season. Also, speaking of Aled, his birthday is August 15th, which is my birthday, so not to brag, but I share a birthday with Aled and Joe Jonas. What a trio of August 15th babies. Anyway, incredible. 5 stars, both volumes, both 2 and 3. Absolutely love them. So I'm going to read volume 4 today. Let me grab it. I just have them on a pile on my floor, but volume 4. This is happening today. Not really mentally prepared for this because this is when Charlie's mental health really becomes a big part of the story. I mean, it's been happening throughout all of the volumes, but this is the one that really focuses on it. So yeah, reading this, probably sobbing, finishing my rewatch of season 1, definitely sobbing, are the plans for today. And then we will be back tomorrow to review this and watch season 2. I can't believe it's happening. Like, it feels so soon. It is so soon. It's tomorrow. But it stuck up on me. I've been so busy lately that I, like, haven't really been thinking about how soon it's actually happening. So, very excited. Very excited that in 24 hours, Heartstopper Season 2 will be here. Okay, my laptop sounds like it's about to take off, but it's fine. Apparently the first 4 minutes of Season 1 of oh my god, I'm overwhelmed. The first 4 minutes of season 2 of Heartstopper are available to watch right now, and I have to watch it. We must do it. I'm so excited. Hello? Why are we so quiet? Oh, okay. He's just a baby. Simply, thank you. It's like, it's so quiet. He's such a baby. Oh, I'm so excited for the soundtrack. The parallels to season 1's opening. It's so sad. Oh my god, I'm gonna cry.
I came out to my mum last night. Oh my god, how did it go? Really?
Oh.
A well done kiss? Yeah.
Yeah, actually. Oh my god, they weren't kidding that the beginning of it is just them making out. Oh god, there's too much to look at. Okay, they're just making out everywhere, that's fine. Oh, the little fireworks. Show me more. The show, like, it makes me, like, overwhelmed with how cute it is. Okay, I'm gonna go cry now. Well, friends, today's the day. Heartstopper Season 2 has been released. It's out. There's people who have already finished because it's been out for a few hours now. I think it came out at 5 a.m. my time. We were not watching it at 5 a.m., so I haven't seen any of it yet. But I definitely want to start it today. I probably will finish it as well. I actually was looking on Netflix to see how long the episodes were, and they're all over a half hour long, which season 1, it was like they were between like 25-30 minutes. So the fact that they're all over a half hour long makes me very excited. I definitely want to finish it before I go onto Twitter, because I just know I will see things about it and I don't want to see anything. I don't want to know any of the songs that are mentioned. I don't want to see any specific scenes. I want to know nothing other than my knowledge from the graphic novels before going into it. So we will be starting that today. But before we do that, let's update on volume 4. Read this last night, sobbed as expected. This volume very much focuses a lot on Charlie's mental health, and it can be like really emotional to read. I feel like there's a point in this where I just start crying and I don't really stop. It is balanced well with some light-hearted moments kind of at the beginning. There are some funnier, lighter moments as well, which is nice to have kind of thrown in between all of these more emotional moments. Like the moment when Charlie tells Nick that he loves him for the first time and Nick is in the shower. That is one of my favorite moments in this entire series. It is so funny and so perfect and so them. But I love the panel of Nick when he falls out of the shower and he's desperately trying to get up. I think I filmed a clip of it, but he's like, Charlie, hang on. I don't know, that his little face is so funny to me. That is like one of my favorite scenes. So like it makes me laugh, but then I also start crying later on. I love like how the mental health representation was shown in this graphic novel. I thought it was such an interesting conversation, an important conversation to have about how love and relationships and like another person cannot cure you, that it can't be the only thing that you rely on. You have to sometimes get, professional help. Like there are other people that you have to talk to. You can't just be cured by the person you're in a relationship with, the person that you love. Like that's a lot to put on one person. And I just love the conversations that are centered around that. And I think something about this series I love in general, but especially with discussing like the mental health representation and how Nick tries to be there for Charlie and how his friends try to be there and his family and everything, like it just feels really realistic. It feels like this is how teens would handle these situations and what they do. And I don't know, the representation just meant a lot to me, and that's why I feel like I sob whenever I even think about this, never mind actually reading it. I did get quite emotional last night. I think I filmed me crying a little bit, but I cried even more after that. I was like, I can't put this on the internet. Not that I haven't before, but So yes, this is absolutely 5 stars. I love this volume so much. It may be my favorite, but it's so different from the other volumes because it gets a little bit more heavy and emotional than the other ones, but I just love it so much. I'm not really mentally prepared for the show to get to this point in the series, but I do think it will be so important to have that representation also in the show and to see that depicted. So I'm not ready, but I'm also ready, and I'm ready to sob watching season 2. I'm ready to sob once we get to this point. Like there's just gonna be a lot of crying. Oh, also one thing that I haven't mentioned at all when rereading these is that I wish Oliver was in the show, Charlie's little brother. I'm like, I understand why he's not in the show. Like there are things that they could not do, and they had to cut certain things out. They had to, make certain sacrifices in that way. And I feel like as far as things that they had to cut out, I understand why it was his little brother. But like, oh my God, I love Oliver. I love the scenes with Nick and Oliver. I just wish he was in the show, but I also understand why he isn't. Anyway, I did say I would rank the 4 volumes of Heartstopper. I have no idea how I'm going to do this because I honestly feel like it could change every day. Now that I'm looking at it, I feel like they're kind of in order, maybe? I don't know. I have volume 4 on top as my favorite, and then volume 1, volume 3, then volume 2. But I also feel like volume 3 and volume 1 could switch depending on the day because I do love the Paris trip so much. But then like volume 2 has the scene of Nick coming out to his mom, and that is like one of my favorite scenes in this entire series. So it's like this ranking is not really accurate, but like you could literally put the books in any order and that would be my ranking. They're all 5 stars. They all mean a lot to me for a variety of reasons, and I just love this series, love these characters so much. So I'm really happy that I did this reread. It's just put me in the best mood to watch season 2. Yeah, honestly, from this point forward, it's going to be probably my season 2, kind of some reactions, I'm sure, and some thoughts. I might like check in after each episode and discuss my thoughts and feelings. But yeah, it's going to be time to watch season 2 soon, and we will continue on in the vlog, and that's what will be happening. I hope you're ready. I'm not emotionally prepared for season 2, but I will be. We'll get there. I want to punch Ben Hope so bad. Harry can also be punched in the face. Like, I love Tori. That's it. Isaac looking at all the couples. Is Isaac gonna make me cry this season? Imagine being a part of the friend group previously. She's an ally.
So nice.
Okay, thoughts on episode 1. So far incredible. We got the hanky-panky line, so that's all I really wanted.
Yeah, there will be no hanky-panky in this house.
Please don't say hanky-panky.
No hanky-panky, that's my favorite
Bedroom door
part.
open at all times. No hanky-panky till you're married.
Stop saying hanky-panky.
No hanky-panky till you're married. Ben can still choke. I am not a fan of his. I wish he wasn't in the show anymore, but that's a whole other conversation. And also the fact that Imogen was like, I have a crush on somebody else. Did we know it was going to be Ben? Because I feel like this is kind of ringing some bells, but she said that she liked Ben. That's very unfortunate.
Please come out there.
Is it about you and Charlie? You didn't like me because you're gay.
Well,
Ally.
I'm sorry, I don't actually know how to react.
Oh, why am I gonna cry? Oh no. Oh.
Okay, well, now you know about Charlie. You have to tell me about your crush.
If she says Ben, I'm going to throw myself out a window.
It's that.
Here I go. There's no way. There's no way. Imogen, you deserve better. But the scene where Nick tells Imogen about him and Charlie was really sweet, like her giving him a hug. I know she has a crush on Ben and that's gonna be a whole other mess, but like I feel like her being friends with like Charlie and Nick and all of them is gonna be really good for her, and I think maybe then she'll learn that she shouldn't have a crush on Ben. Also, Charlie giving Nick the chocolate for their 2-month anniversary. Are you kidding me? That was the cutest thing I've ever seen. Me and my cheese. Oh my god. They're so cute. It hurts. It's physically painful. But making out while I'm eating cheese. Tao and Elle, the tension with them already is like too much. But yeah, so far, I mean, it's incredible. No notes. What did I cry? I started crying over something. Was it? I think it was Imogen and Nick. Yeah, if I'm already crying now, I'm in trouble, I think. Anyway, time for episode 2. On that note. Is that Sahar? Queen! Okay, episode 2. Another sleigh. I low-key forgot that Nick's brother was gonna be in this season. Like, I knew, because I saw like stuff about the guy who was playing him. So I knew, but I like went into this season like watching the episodes being like, everything's fine. And then he showed up. I was getting excited to see Nelly, and then there he was.
Not if you act like that, David.
Oh, jump scare. I was excited over Nelly, and now Nick's brother's here.
We're all very happy you're back from uni, Debbie.
Are we happy he's back? And the scene where David introduces himself to Charlie is so uncomfortable and so sad. And just, he's another person that I need to punch. I'm not a violent person, but these people, they bring something out in me. I don't know.
Hi.
Nelly growling at Nick's brother.
Sorry. Turn my little brother gay. So this is exactly why I didn't want to tell you.
Olivia Colman is yelling at you. That's embarrassing. Also, Ben is still being extremely annoying.
I see you stay as desperate as ever.
Oh my god, he's so annoying.
You hate me so much.
Have you heard yourself? Yeah, yeah. Nick, you tell him. Someone needs to humble Ben. And by humble, I mean punch him in the face.
Does Charlie know you don't want to come out? I do want to come out. I'll believe that when I see him.
Ben, this has nothing to do with you, babe.
Boyfriend, but you are just the same as me.
And him and Imogen like kissing, and like Nick trying to tell Imogen like Ben is not a good guy, and Imogen's like, I don't really have any friends, like he's someone like one of my only friends. It's just so sad because I also feel like she could become friends with like Nick and Charlie and all of like Charlie's friends, which I hope is how the season ends. I'm assuming Imogen's gonna be going on the Paris trip now that she's a character in the show, so I'm hoping that maybe she will realize she deserves better by the end of this season. And also like seeing the start of Charlie's like mental health and that being kind of hinted at even more so this season so far, like I'm not mentally prepared So I gotta get mentally prepared for that. I'm laughing because I'm scared. But on a lighter note, the scene of Nick and Charlie and Nellie in the park, Charlie's playing with Nellie and then they're like on the blanket and stuff like that, to me was like the snow scene from season 1. That's the snow scene of this season. And also the end of the episode with Tao going up to Isaac and Charlie being like, I like Elle, what do I do, help me. So good. I love them. I'm so excited to see their relationship develop throughout this season, because like I was saying when I was rereading the graphic novels, like I feel like you see their relationship a little bit but you don't really see it as much as you do in the show. The show kind of allows these side characters and relationships to be expanded a lot more, so I'm really excited to see that continue on. And also, oh my god, Elle making friends at the art school that she is like applying to get into, I loved that moment as well. So yeah, there's definitely been emotional moments and some frustrating moments with characters that I really do not like. But there's been some cute moments and there's been some good moments. I feel like this show and like this series does a good job of doing that, so I'm excited to keep going.
This is more fun. Of course I've read that one.
Of course I've read that one. The Ace by Angela Chun was on there.
I didn't mean that in an I love you way. That was just a casual I love you.
Oh no, Tara just said I love you to Darcy and she didn't say it back. Oh no. Wait a minute, pause, go back. Blinds. Now is not the time. Isaac was reading Book Lovers. Go back right now.
What are you reading?
Oh, it's called Book Lovers. It's called Book Lovers.
Book Lovers.
Look after him or you die.
Okay, episode 3 is now done. First of all, it's so good so far. I'm sad that I'm almost halfway through this season already. Like, these episodes just fly by and it's just so easy once you start to just go into the next episode. The Tao and Elle date was so fun and exciting at first and then it went really downhill.
What the hell?
Hi. These are for you. Finishing your thesis. I like you. Romantically.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
So, tonight, I thought maybe we could go to the cinema. I want to make this your dream date.
Oh, Tao.
Follow me.
I'm gonna cry. 1975 jump scare. I am not paying attention.
I'm fundamentally unlikable. He was probably, and I talk too much, so I ruin everything.
Wow. Like it not going well, like I guess it adds some more tension. Now it will, like on the Paris trip, that will be something that continues to build, so it definitely makes sense, but it just made me sad to see it not go super well because it was so cute at first. And also Nick really trying so hard to come out to his friends. Like at the very beginning, after like their rugby practice, he like started talking to his friends and one of his friends did the thing where he's like, we know you and Charlie are really good mates. And then Nick walks away and one of them's like, why would she say that?
I know you and Charlie are really good mates.
Good mates. Really good mates.
Yeah.
It's perfect because that's what happens in the graphic novel and it's so funny because they obviously like they know, they're just waiting for Nick to like tell them himself, which is exciting. It's good to know that he has supportive friends, but him being like overwhelmed at the party, like trying to figure out how to tell his friends and everything, it just Nick just, he deserves the world. In other news, I love all of the teachers. Coach Sang like catching them making out and then telling Nick about her wife, iconic. And also the teachers who are chaperoning the Paris trip. I'm so excited for their storyline. Their like first interaction was this episode and it was simply everything to me.
Yusuf, time as always.
I love them. I love them so much. And now I think maybe I'll take a break before going into the next episode because I never want it to be over, but we will be continuing shortly. Imagine saying her 7-step skincare routine, so she overpacked. It's the patriarchy's fault. Love her. Oh my god, Ben isn't even a good boyfriend, Imogen. Why?
I need a drink.
I need a drink. An alcoholic drink. Charlie and Tara, let's go. I want this. The hickey reveal being the end of the episode. And to me, that's cinema. Okay, that was the end of episode 4. Everyone reacting to Nick speaking French. Incredible. Can't wait for that to happen with him and Charlie. Tao's face.
Since when did you speak French? Like an actual French person? Since when?
Since his birth.
Also, we did get the moment between Charlie and Tara that I really wanted. I feel like just seeing different characters than like the typical characters we see interact is always fun, so I'm happy we got that scene. Also, Imogen popping off on Ben, as she should. That Ben sitting next to Charlie. Get him away from him. Why is Ben speaking to Charlie?
But instead you got some sort of obsession with Charlie.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know why you're obsessed with Charlie. That's because I don't even care.
Imagine.
All I know is and I deserve better.
Truth. She does deserve better.
Your energy's off. You're not mature and
You don't have to be such a bitch.
Oh, Ben.
Benjamin,
Leave.
it's not to call her a bitch.
Did Harry just make a point? Hold on, go back.
It's not to call her a bitch.
Maybe they are gonna do the moment with Harry. Yeah, bye. Go away. That's what I've been saying this whole time. And when Nick and Charlie go to comfort her in the bathroom, she's like, it would be much easier if I was into girls. Me and Charlie had the same reaction.
it's gone now. Oh, everything would be so much easier if I was into girls.
Me and Charlie having the same reaction. And of course, Ellen Tao. Iconic. That whole like museum sequence in that episode was so good. And Tao randomly like yelling when they were looking at paintings. Like, love them. I'm so happy that we've reached the point where they're in Paris. And to be honest, I think the last 4 episodes I'm just gonna watch. I'm sure I'll still whip out my camera to react and chat occasionally, but I think I'm just gonna try and just like watch it and enjoy it instead of trying to capture my reactions for every little thing. So I'm gonna keep watching. Again, there will still be some reactions, but I want to just enjoy, I think, the last bit of the season, especially because I feel like I'm going to start crying a lot, and like I need to have my moments, you know, by myself. I don't need to have a camera happening while that's happening.
Wait, so? What's the Like, do you like the fact that I speak French? It's fine.
It's fine. Them being disgusted by vodka. I get it. Me too.
I know I've said some homophobic stuff in the past. I feel like I know better. And I'll never say anything like that.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm ready. No speech, just no. Still a slay. No. King. That makes me think that Charlie's gonna give like a speech to Ben. Is Imogen not just an ally? So I have finished watching season 2 of Heartstopper, and of course I wanted to share kind of my final thoughts and some thoughts on like the second half of the season, because I didn't really film a whole lot, just kind of some reactions to that. So it was just so good. Of course it was. I feel like with a lot of other shows, when they continue past like the first season, I'm always a little nervous that it's not going to be as good. I feel like there's always that fear when series or things continue, like what if it's not as good as the first one? And I didn't have that fear at all with this show. There was not a single moment where I was like, what if season 2 isn't as good as season 1? Like there was never really a moment where I thought that. I was just always so sure that season 2 was going to be just as good, if not better than season 1, and it was. And obviously I think Alice Oseman being a a part of the adaptation so heavily is very clear, because not only is it just such a great adaptation and done so beautifully, but all of the changes and things that they add and things that they kind of rearrange, it just flows so naturally. Like some of the changes, some of the additions, one of the things is the stuff with Nick's family and his dad, and seeing the whole dinner scene with Nick and Charlie's families together. That doesn't happen until much later on in the timeline in the graphic novels, but I think them inserting that this season makes a lot of sense. I think logistically with like casting Nick's dad's actor, but also I think it just fit in really well with Nick's storyline and everything. And I think if I hadn't just reread the graphic novels, I don't even think I would have realized that that was going out of order. It flows so well, and they do such a good job with all of the changes and additions and rearranging that they do. And something else that they added, which I thought again was really great, was the whole prom aspect. I thought that was really fun. Obviously there wasn't like a whole lot at the prom, I feel like, once we got to that point, but seeing the characters all dress up, seeing them all pitch in to help Darcy pay for her suit was so cute and just like such a sweet moment, and just really shows how wonderful this friendship group is. And like Nick and Charlie reacting to seeing each other in their suits for the first time was so cute. So loved that also. But yeah, I also wanted to kind of go through all of the characters and everything. I'm gonna first just mention the teachers, all of the teachers, even Coach Singh included. I just love all of their relationships, and I love that we see these two teachers on the Paris trip getting to know each other and seeing representation within older couples as well. Not that they're old, but obviously the show is mainly following teenagers, so I think that that's really great to see someone who is a bit older coming to terms with his sexuality later in life and then having these experiences. It was just really cute, and every scene with them made me scream. Kiss, kiss, kiss. I also really loved seeing Elle and her artwork, and seeing her like applying to this art school and seeing her make these friends there. I think if we continue on seeing more of that in season 3, it's going to be really great. I'm really excited to see her friendships with these other characters. And I love that her painting was like her safe space, and it was in the art room with Charlie, Isaac, and Tao, and I just thought that that was so cute. I also really enjoyed learning more about Tao. I think that's really important, considering there were people after season 1 who really didn't like his character. Can't relate. I love him, but seeing like a lot of context to who he is and things that have happened in the past, I think really builds up his character and makes him and his actions make a lot more sense. The fact that he was talking to Isaac about Charlie coming out, and that being the reason why someone found out and Charlie getting outed like happened, I think that being why Tao is so protective of Charlie and why he was so skeptical of Nick at first. I think it adds a lot of context to that and is really important to have that. And also him sharing that he lost his dad when he was younger, and that's a big reason why he's so scared of losing people. I think it's so important for his character to know these things. Also, like seeing his friendship with Charlie, of course, was so precious. The whole thing with the lock and Charlie writing Charlie and Tao on the lock was so cute. I was gonna say it's one of my favorite scenes, but I keep saying that about every scene in the show. And also seeing Tao and Nick become friends and like really bonding this season was just so special to see, and I love them so much. And then obviously Tao and Elle together, you saw my reactions, you saw me screaming when they went on their first date. Even though it didn't go well, it eventually went well, and then they kiss and I screamed. Can't jump from Charlie passing out to Tao and Elle. What am I supposed to do here? Thank you. Kiss again. Kiss again. Do it. Thank you so much. I think every moment with them in the various museums, all of those montages were just so special and so precious, and I just love them so much, and I'm so glad we got to see them like be together this season. And then we have Tara and Darcy, and oh my god, I love them. I think that they're really funny characters and really great characters, and I love their relationship. But there were also so many emotional moments with them when Tara like says I love you to Darcy for the first time, and Darcy's just like, yep, okay, and doesn't say it back. I was like, oh no, I'm not emotionally prepared for this. And that's something that I think I've said already many times, is that the show is really able to expand on the side characters and their relationships. And so I think being able to really see Tara and Darcy come together and learn about Darcy's like home life and having them talk about that, I thought was really special, and it was so important to have that expanded and discussed in the show. And it was like really emotional to watch, but I think is so important. And the whole scene where Tara and Darcy like talk about what Darcy's home life is like, I thought again was just so powerful. The scene, oh my god, the scene where they just start going like back and forth saying I love you to each other after they've had that conversation was not only special because it was just so cute and I loved it, but then to follow that up by playing 7 by Taylor Swift. What was I supposed to do with that? No way. There's no way 7 by Taylor Swift is playing right now. As if Taylor Swift isn't the biggest artist. Why is she here? Oh my god, and it's 7 when talking about Darcy. I'm sorry, this is so mean. So mean. So mean. So mean. So mean. Why? Who did this? Who is responsible? Jessica Folk song. I love the best. Why is this happening? This is so wholesome. But I can't get over Taylor Swift playing right now. That was the biggest jump scare of this whole show. Sweetie in the summer casa, I won't tell no other. Pack your toast. We'll move to India forever. I can't. Why? And it's like the whole song. Why are we doing this to me specifically? This feels targeted. I can't believe that just happened. I can't believe that just happened. So yeah, if you don't know, I love Taylor Swift and I love her music and I love her and I love 7. 7 is one of my favorite Taylor Swift songs. So just to have that play, why was I being targeted? I'm pretty sure I had seen that there was going to be a Taylor Swift song in season 2 of Heartstopper like a couple weeks ago, but I just kind of don't believe anything until I see it, especially if it has something to do with Taylor Swift and Swifties, because Swifties love to lie, Taylor Swift loves to tease us, so it's like I really just don't know anything ever and I don't trust it. So the fact that there was a song by Taylor Swift in this season, so powerful, but then to have it be 7 and knowing like that song is about having this friendship with this person who clearly does not have a good home life, having that play when Tara and Darcy have just finished talking about Darcy's home life and how it's not a great place for her, to then also lead into the scene of all of these friends like dancing and playing these games and just having this like such like special moment together. It's too much. It's too much. The found family of it all, it just hurt. It was just such a perfect moment, a perfect scene, a perfect use of 7. I honestly feel like the last like 10 minutes of the last episode are some of the best things that show has ever done. Because then it goes into Nick and Charlie's scene, which again, we will talk about in a moment, but I did want to quickly mention Isaac's storyline. I think is so great to see, so important. Loveless in the background while Isaac talks about this.
Experience being romantic and asexual. The euphoria of freeing yourself from those pressures and expectations.
I'm gonna cry. Don't go in gray. No. The fact that aromantic and asexual were said on a TV show out loud, like they are discussing it, I think is so important because there's really not a whole lot of ace representation in media, and when it is, it's a lot of times it's not said. Like the word asexual is not really said often in media, so I think that that's so important that that's happening and that these conversations are starting and that Isaac is like discovering this about himself, and I think it's going to be really exciting to see that continue in season 3, and I'm just really excited to see that happen. And also very quickly, Tori Spring, the icon, the legend. I feel like whenever she was in this season, it was great. She was talking to Charlie and Charlie was like, everything's gonna be perfect, and you could see like the tears in her eyes because she's so like worried for him when things inevitably go wrong, because nothing is going to be perfect. Like that's just not how life works, and her being so worried for him and being overprotective of him, not overprotective, just protective, and also her protecting Nick when Nick's brother David was trying to out Nick at the dinner table and she's like, don't you dare, and then also when she kicks his phone. I love that scene so much. It's so powerful, and I'm so glad that it made it into the adaptation.
It's a very attractive sport to women. And you boys find girlfriends.
Don't you dare. David, be respectful, please, at the table.
Tori Queen.
Charlie's my boyfriend. Surprise. I'm bi. He's gay.
Oh, here we go. Tori Queen.
You are a pathetic little man.
I love her. So yes, love Tori Spring, love her work. She did great. And speaking of Nick and Charlie, we could talk about them, I suppose. The whole like main characters of the show. Obviously, I love them. I love everything that happened with them. Obviously, there were a lot of emotional moments. I think there were a lot of really great moments of seeing Charlie's mental health. The whole scene at the end of the last episode between Charlie and Nick talking about Charlie's mental health and like his history and what was going on when he was being bullied. That whole scene was so emotional. I don't think I recorded anything while that was happening because I was sobbing. It was just one of those scenes I just feel like I had to like focus on because it was just, the acting was so good, so phenomenal, but also just the context of the scene was so important and so just, it was just too much, but it was so powerful. And I think the way that they are portraying Charlie's mental health is they're doing such a great job with it. And I know it's just gonna get more emotional as we continue on with the show, but I'm excited to see them handle that because I really trust the way that it's being handled so far. I think they're doing a really great job, which I didn't really expect anything else, but they're doing great. And also the scene where Charlie sticks up to Ben, not only was that like really great for him to do, he really needed to do that. Everything that he said was so powerful. The fact that he was like, I hope you become a better person so that you don't hurt someone in the future, and I don't want to be around to see any of it. Like, that was not only such a sick burn, but it's also like so important for Charlie to acknowledge that, and I think that was just such a great moment.
We'll never see me again.
He's leaving. Heck yeah.
I'm a messed up person, Charlie.
No kidding.
This must be what I deserve.
Oh.
And now whenever anything good happens in my life, there's a little voice in the back of my mind telling me I'm worthless. And I don't deserve it.
Charlie.
And now you want
Baby
me to forgive
boy.
you. I really hope you become a better person so you don't hurt anyone else.
Oh,
But I don't want to be there to see that happen.
what a
I don't wanna see you
sick
ever
burn. Well done, Charles. Does that mean that Ben isn't coming back in season 3? But also Charlie acknowledging like every time something good happens to me, there's a little voice in the back of my head that says I don't deserve it because of Ben. I think that also provides a lot of context to Charlie's mental health struggles, and I think it was so important for Charlie to say that to Ben, and it also hurt me. That was too much. But yeah, I'm really glad that that means that Ben is not coming back for season 3. He's officially done. I think that that is the right decision. I think it makes sense why they kept him in this season. I think to have that moment between Ben and Charlie, and I think to close out his, not really his story, but I think to close out Charlie's story with Ben, I think that was important to do just for Charlie's sake. So I understand why he was in this season, but I'm glad that he's not going to be back. And also with Nick this whole season trying to figure out how to come out to a variety of people and, you know, the important people in his life, the people he wanted to know, and then also, you know, people at school. And I just thought that that was really well done, and I loved so many of the scenes where he came out to people. The scene where he came out to Imogen, so precious. But yeah, obviously Nick was really struggling with coming out and figuring out how to do that. He was really like struggling with that all season, but I also think like it was really great to see him come out to certain people and to people at school and on Instagram and stuff on his own time. And I saw a tweet that was like, it's more emotional knowing that Nick got that when Kit didn't get that. And I just like, I can't even think about that because it makes me so angry on Kit Connor's behalf. But yeah, I think it was really, really great to see someone be able to just like come out on their own terms when they want to who they want to. Also, oh my god, I'm kind of all over the place, but the scene where Nick and Charlie are in the park and Charlie's playing with Nellie, I love that scene. I keep thinking about that scene. I'm saying that that is the snow day scene of season 2. It is incredible, and the song that's playing at that time is incredible. Everything about it. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Those are most of my thoughts. I'm sure I'm forgetting things, but obviously like overall, I just love the show so much. I think it is so important and so powerful, but also just so cute and heartwarming. And also like, not only is it doing really cute and emotional things on that end, but it's also like tackling a lot of harder subjects as well. And I think it's just perfect. It's perfect. It is a perfect show. And if you disagree, that's okay. You're just wrong. But yeah, I think I'm going to sign off here. I would love to know any thoughts that you have, whether that's on the graphic novels or the show, any Heartstopper thoughts you want to share. I would love for you to leave a comment down below, but I would especially love to hear your thoughts on season 2 if you're happy with it, any favorite moments, anything that I obviously missed because I'm sure I didn't talk about everything because there are so many great scenes. Like I kept saying, every scene is my favorite scene. But I'd love to know your thoughts, any predictions that maybe you have for what is going to be going on in season 3. Obviously we know based off of the graphic novels, but anything you might think might be be added or how you think they're going to do certain things. Just talk to me about all things Heartstopper in the comments below. But that is going to be it for this very Heartstopper filled vlog. So thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.